2022 Industrie New South Wales SuperSports Motor Racing Championship is proudly brought to you by these loyal partners.
Alex Kennedy, pole position SuperSports for the last round of the state championship. How's it feel out there?
Yeah, look, it was interesting. Just jumped in the car first thing this morning to qualifying. And, just having a good crack, couple of laps, that's all we needed. And just set it up for the racing this afternoon for a good battle with all the SR8 boys. Yeah, so hopefully I can have a clean run this weekend. I just want to finish all three races. This is really a setup for Bathurst in a couple of weeks. It's a bit of a bucket list event.
Opening race for the final round of the Industrie Clothing New South Wales SuperSports Championship here at Sydney Motorsport Park. And we've got a good field of 17 cars, Gary. A lot of SuperSport racing happening around the nation. So good to see strong fields in New South Wales.
Oh, it's been a mega year for this category, particularly at some of the state championship meetings. And you can see by the field here, it's just huge. And already Alex Kenny out in front in the Buick Tech-powered Juno shows the way ahead of Peter White, who's trying to win the outright championship as well as Class 2.
He's having a good run out in front. Kenny has returned to the category, of course. That regulator automation car has seen plenty of race victories, especially here at Sydney Motorsport Park. As we see, down the inside goes Palmer to take the position away. We take on board now with Mark Brom as he comes round through the back of Corporate Hill, looking on the back of, I think that's Warwick Morris in front. I'm not exactly sure. We can't tell a lot of them from the rear, with a lot of radicals with right rears.
Well, the thing is with Mark Brame, he leads the championship outright and in Class 1. So it's between him and White as to who can win the championship. Steve Roberts just going down the inside of one of the SR3s down at turn number 1. And he's the second of the SR8s, the third of the SR8s in the field.
You can see there Stephen Shields in the Truck Experience car. The blue radical is, oh no, the 28 has stopped on the back section of the circuit. That's Peter White, so problems for his championship, Gary.
That's not auguring very well at all. I know he's got a good lead in Class 2, but his outright chances have diminished somewhat.
They definitely have, and he'll get back to the pit lane. But unfortunately for him, you can see we've got yellow flags, so safety car boards and flags are out for these competitors at the moment as they swing through turn 1. You can just see there, Baum trying to chase down the group in front of him. He's not going to be able to get to them, well, make any sort of move into turn 2 because we're under yellow flag conditions, and that will be for the recovery of Peter White. But soon back underway, and now it was time for Kelly to try to attack the front.
Yeah, and there goes Palmer up in the third position. Only one store running this weekend. Darren Barlow's car undergoing a revamp for next year.
Yep, he's doing a lot of work to try to get it back on track to be able to take the championship. Of course, last year took our championship in the Industrie Clothing New South Wales SuperSports, but this year just not been a clean run for him. As you see Peter Clare there in the purple and green radical, coming under a bit of pressure from the group behind. He's going to look to the inside, not quite enough, and there's a bit more battling happening as well. Just hard to track where all these cars are as they move through the field so quickly.
Well, different sorts of configurations for SR3s. Just minor aero tweaks, basically. The difference between some of the models that run, but theoretically they're all pretty much the same, and the SR3s really put on a good show amongst the other SuperSports.
As we come down the straight yet again, of course, you can see here full throttle up above 200 kilometres an hour. We shouldn't see any braking down into turn 1, be able to hold it through there and then charge down towards turn 2, get late on the brakes and see if you can make the move. As we come round, you can see Jonathan Carnarvon in the Hunter Property Group car, blue and white radical there coming through. He's in the middle of the pack. Just got behind him, I think that's Stephen Champion, sorry. Of course, previous champion of the club on multiple occasions.
An appropriate name for that, but Claire and Canavan have been going hard at it since the start. There's not much between the pair of them. So head up out of turn 5 towards turn 6. Once used to be 2 corners here, but now they've just made it into 1, and it's a lot more free-flowing type of corner these days.
It seems to have made a lot more passing opportunities down into the old hairpin as well as they come onto the straight out of the final corner. A bit of a nudge side to side onto the straight there. So they're still playing for keeps for position here as we swing through turn 1 yet again, and there's the pass made, taking a spot away. So Claire drops back a little bit. falls into the clutches of Champion behind. So he'll now have to try to keep an eye on that. And you can see here, this is the front of the group. Out in front is Palmer's. Oh, a little bit wide there for Paul Braco. And the GWR car loses a position. Might lose 2 actually over the hill. Just running, yep, 2 gone by the time they get to turn 6.
Yeah,
So
Canavan got through on him as well.
shows you what happens if you just run a little bit wide. But back at the front, there's our car in 3rd place. It's Aaron Lee in the Evolution Racing Team car, but out in front, Alex Kenny takes a comfortable victory in the end, considering the safety car in the middle of the race.
It certainly has. Kelly in 2nd, Lee in 3rd, and then a pretty good dice here for 4th position. Palmer going to get the chocolates for that one. Here we go for race 2 of the final round for the Industrie Clothing SuperSports Championship of New South Wales, and again it's Kenny that leads the way over Kelly through turn 1 on the first occasion.
And notably not coming back out for this race is Peter White, so his championship is probably done and dusted there, Gary.
Engine,
yeah,
unfortunately for Peter White, so he will win Class 2, but he's out of contention for the outright championship.
We go on board with Brom, and you can see Palmer and Lee going side by side through turn 3. They make the run down into turn 4 and look to the inside and not quite be able to make
an incident in the background there.
Something's gone on, and a few of them have made contact, and not sure exactly who that was. We'll probably find out as the lap continues. As we look back towards the front, it was actually Lee and Kelly who were going side by side in front of Brom there. And Kelly's gone around out of 6. And that's not ideal for him, and Palmer has nailed him on the run up the hill. Unfortunately for Palmer, just nowhere to go. With a car to his left, there was nothing he can do. We take the onboard, and you can see Kelly, I think he lost the rear and then just tried to grab a bit of brake to stop it rotating and just popped the front left out of it. So that's not great for Nick Kelly in this race, unfortunate for him.
And now, there's Steve Champion going into the pits in the background. So now we believe the incident involved Warwick Morris, beg your pardon, and Steve Roberts, and unfortunately Champion got caught up in it as well. So that was going down towards turn 4 and then followed up with that incident at turn 6.
Bit happening in the opening stages of this second race of the weekend for the final round. As we come over the hill, and you can see now working on the back of Simon Copping is a previous sports sedans competitor as well, Stephen Shields, and these two finding their feet in super sports racing over about a 2-year period now that they've been involved, each of them in separate rounds, one-off appearances before Copping bought his own car and got involved properly, and now they're starting to work their way towards the front of the pack.
Yeah, of course, Copping in the west, sandwiched in between a couple of the Radical SR3s at the moment. With Claire in front of him, Shields behind him, and further back there's even more SR3s going hard at it as they head down towards turn 6. Fortunately, we didn't go to safety car, so everyone got out of that. You can see Kelly parked off to the right there out of turn 6, managed to get out of the way. Hopefully he might be back for the last race. And we'll see Joshua Peacock coming out at the back of a pretty SR3 there.
It's a good little battle through this fit group as well. They're all staying close enough to each other to put the pressure on at different points. As you can see, Peacock now looks to the inside, not quite got enough room to be able to get past Paul Royal, who shuts the door at the last opportunity, but just shows you can keep these cars close enough to each other, use the aero to get through the corners still, and have a run to make a position.
Yeah, speaking of aero, that the West certainly has a very flat rear wing, and it's synonymous with those cars. As with the Stores, they seem to have that same sort of low aero drag, which must be pretty good for them in the straight line performance.
Coming down into turn 2, and Peacock's been able to get the job done on the 78 of Paul Royal, the Wilroy Kitchens Radical, and he's been able to pick up that position as this battle continues. You can see Copping was probably a little bit under pressure there through turn 5. He slid a little bit wider, and to the inside. Shields takes a bit of curb and gestures as well. I don't think he was too happy with Simon pulling across on that one. I think he might have thought he had the line. Now he's going to try to do it onto the main straight. Tuck back in for the draft and see what he can do down into turn 2 as he tries to go around the outside. A little bit of contact between the pair of them side to side.
They don't mind nudging each other in order to make the moves happen. I think Shields finally got the job done coming out of turn 3.
Playing hard, aren't they? All on for position here at the back half of the top 10. So these guys fighting for what's 8th, 9th, 10th in the race. And the again down to turn 6, and it looks like Peacock's going to look to the inside of Copping in what we saw from Shields just moments ago, but not quite able to get there. You can see the Nick Kelly car parked off to the side, and as we come through the final complex, I think that was Shields facing the wrong way.
Turned around there, so Copping gets that spot back, not probably the way he would have really liked it, but he'll take it anyway. Here's our leader, Alex Kenny, done a beautiful job in this Duratec powered Juno to be out in front and dominant in these 2 races so far.
He's absolutely flying out in front, isn't he? He's done a great pole lap. He's got the fastest lap in the race so far. Well and truly about 5-6 seconds up the road from Aaron Lee, who, let's not forget as well, for his first season in that car, he's doing a fantastic job in that West WR1000. But it's going to be Kenny who takes the checkered flag, a lights to flag victory. He'll be looking to make it 3 from 3 in the final race of the weekend. So taking a look at the top 10 results, Aaron Lee, Mark Brom, Jonathan Carnarvon and Paul Breaker rounding out your top 5.
Race 3, final race for the year for the Industrie Clothing Supersports, and again Kenny just blasts away in front. It's good to see that we've got Nick Kelly back for this one. Superficial damage on the Radical SR8. He will be making his way through from the back of the field.
It seems like the team had to do a lot of work though between these 2 races. Of course, all 3 races for Supersports on one day at Sydney Motorsport Park, so it's not a lot of time to be able to repair a car. Often with a race series you'll see 1 race Saturday, 2 races Sunday, which means you've got a lot more hours in the day to do any sort of repair. But with these guys, they like to have a condensed race meeting as one of the allures of racing in this category. You get to come race one day, have a jam-packed day full of action, and then have your Sunday off.
Yeah, or come and watch the rest of the racing. Either way, it's been a tradition with this class that they always do the Saturday race part of the meeting. And as you alluded to, they do qualifying and 3 races all on the Saturday. Usually wind up the Saturday program. Here's Kelly making way just past the Shield down the straight. The 2.7 litre V8 powered SR8, just a little bit too much grunt for the 1.5 litre 4-cylinder SR3.
She's got a bit of mumbo, doesn't she? Is now
These 2 are at it again.
Copping and Shields going again. Copping's turned into turn 5 now. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have known Shields was quite on the inside where he was at that corner. You're sort of looking at the flow between 4 and 5, and it's not really an overtaking move unless you're already side by side in 4 most of the time. So Shields you can see how much ground he's lost just from that, and that slowing him down around the back of the circuit. He'll have to try to push his way forward as we see the 4 of Warwick Morris move to the inside of Paul Royal, and he'll take that position down into turn 1. Of course, Warwick Morris coming back through the field after that contact at turn 4 in race 1.
Yeah, Roberts just up ahead of him in the SR8. They were the 2 that had the contact, and Steve Champion was caught up in it as well, unfortunately. But yeah, they're good to see him back out and running. I think Champion's already out of this one. I think he started but only got a lap in, so he's had some drama as a result. And Copping appears to have
slowed down a bit, hasn't he? He's all over. Shields is all over him right now, so we'll have to see what's happened there. Though he's opened the gap up again, so who knows? Well, I guess some sort of issue there that's gone on, but we'll get to the bottom of that, no doubt, at the end of the day, as Warwick Morris continues his charge forward. They're trying to get on the back of Shields here and see if they can get back through and be able to take those positions back up towards the front of the field. So Shields sort of stuck behind Copping after he made that lunge in the opening time of the race, as Warwick Morris locks a brake and runs a little bit wide through the final complex. That's going to allow somebody to get to the inside of him there, and they'll go side by side onto the main straight and try to work their way back towards that group as well.
Yeah, and it looked like just then that Shields had got alongside Copping and maybe trying to get that spot away as they head down the straight. Meanwhile, there's more battles going on down the field.
There is, as we see here. You can see this is Brom, and he's looking to try to maintain the position to be able to get enough championship points to be able to steal the championship here. So I think he's got to keep it straight, doesn't he?
I think he's in the box seat, actually. But Canavan, who's come through the field, considering where he was in race 1, to be as high as he is, and I think he's about 3rd or 4th on the road at the moment.
Lee's off at the final corner. So that's a bit of a drama. So he'll drop a position. That gives second place easily to Kelly. He's got a lot of work to chase down that Juno out in front. You can see it there at the bottom of the straight. So it's at the moment leading the way, Alex Kenny. Nick Kelly has come through to second place. You've got the rest of the field coming through there. And then up the top of the hill, it looks like Peter Clare. And he's coming under pressure from somebody. I'm not sure who it is.
I think it is.
Yep, there we go. So Braco looks to the inside and not quite going to be able to get there. Good racing from the pair of them, though.
It is. They've been
not separated by much all race, have they? So continue fighting for that position. They're back up the front here. This is fourth and fifth. And Brame continues to hold that gap. Looks like he's been able to manage it through the back section of the circuit, but then here at the final complex, he just loses enough ground that down the main straight he has to think about protecting into one.
Well, I think it's good for Canavan from his position to be saying that he can match the champion for the year and possibly beat him. That's probably what he's trying to do. Exactly. And I think Kelly's reduced that gap to our race leader as well.
Well, Kenny's slowed at the final complex, so there's some sort of drama for him. Kelly's gone by, he's gone by, the white flag being waved by the officials, so obviously they've noticed that car is slow, and now this man from last to first is being able to lead the trophy race of the weekend and take the lead right at the death knell. He's got a lap and a half to be able to lead it home.
He's from a crash to a last to a first. He's done it all today and wins the trophy race well ahead of Aaron Lee. Looks like Mark Brame will hold on to third ahead of John Canavan in fourth. We have to wait till we see who comes out of fifth, and it looks like it might be Peter Clare just ahead of Paul Braco.
A fantastic third and final race for the Industrie Clothing New South Wales Sports Dance for the Industrie Clothing New South Wales SuperSports Championship here at Sydney Motorsport Park. We caught up with our victors down in the pits after the round.
Mark, congratulations. Championship winner here at Sydney Motorsport Park for SuperSports. Now, it's been a disruptive few years. How good is it to be back out there this year?
Yeah, it's been great to get back in the car. I haven't been doing much racing recently, but yeah, got into the SR3 this year and decided to come and do this series, and it's a great series. They're really nice people, and all the guys I race with, the camaraderie is fantastic, so it was really good.
And you walk away with the championship trophy just to top it all off? Yeah,
lucky day in the end. We started this morning and it did a gearbox, and the guys from Jeff Forshaw Motorsport and Josh and all his guys replaced an engine and a gearbox between qualifying and the first race. And, I've got to thank GWR for supplying the engine, and the boys just did a fantastic job.
Yeah, the car looked like it was on point. Nice conditions out there to top it all off as well, which we haven't seen in a while. How was it driving out there in this weather?
Yeah, it was good to see the sun. I don't mind a bit of rain. We did all right in the rain, and but to see the sun and the car, we changed the setup to suit the track, and with the new engine, and it was on point. It was really fun to be out there and not have to worry about the rain and other conditions and things. So yeah, it was great.
And anyone you want to thank, mate?
Oh, I just obviously do the usual, thank my wife and my kids for helping out, and then obviously Jeff Forshaw Motorsport and Josh and Ben and the guys that hooked in there, Justin, Kai and Jack. Those guys really went the extra mile for me today, and otherwise I was going home after qualifying. It's a big job in one of these to change an engine and gearbox all in one hit, but yeah, I've got to thank them. It's fantastic effort.
Congratulations, mate. We'll see you next year.
Thank you.
Nick Kelly, trophy race winner here for the final round of SuperSports at Sydney Motorsport Park. Mate, you stuck with him the whole way. Bit of fortune, but great day for it.
Oh my God, wasn't that so upsetting for both of them and Alex, but yeah, it went my way. That's racing. Sometimes you're lucky. I was exceptionally lucky in that third race, and feels great.
But mate, you're right. It's that is racing, and you stuck with him pretty much the whole race there. It was a good race.
Yeah, I mean, we started last. You've got to stay composed. You've got to get through all grades of driver. At the end of the day, it's just every corner. You've just got to get every corner. And I was catching him. I didn't know if I had enough time to get Alex. He's a fabulous driver, and that car's wickedly good. But yeah, we were lucky. I mean, we spun out in the second race. That was a shame. But, you know, thanks to Jeff, the old girl got going again. And yeah, Bob's your uncle.
And it must have been fun coming through the field on a day like this, like great weather for it, and a lot of fun out there, I'm imagining.
Oh, yeah, look, yeah, it always is. This car hasn't been out for over a year. And so, the fact we're here, the fact that we're not worrying about rain, the fact that we're not worrying about cancellations is just fabulous. You know, let's hope 2023 is the same.
Absolutely, mate. Well, congratulations. Anyone you want to thank while we're at it?
I want to thank Jeff Forshaw and the lads, because that car was smashed up in race 2 and they put it together in an hour. I mean, that's twice he's done that today. So always gratitude to Jeff Forshaw, Barton Moore, and everyone, all the guys, my missus, the lot.
Well, mate, congratulations and bring on next year.
Yeah, thanks very much. I'll see you next year.
We hope you've enjoyed all the action here on Blendline TV. Until next time, make sure to check out all of the highlights from the Industrie Clothing New South Wales SuperSports Championship on the YouTube channel. As well, get across to their website for all the information on the 2023 season. It's coming around very shortly, so make sure to keep abreast of it to be able to follow all of the action. The 2022 Industrie New South Wales SuperSports Motor Racing Championship is proudly brought to you by these loyal partners.